Okay, thank you. So I'm calling our executive committee meeting to order at 7:10 p.m. Can you all hear me? Thank you all for joining.
Yes, we can. I can.
We're going to keep today's meeting brief. And so I had a few things on the agenda. One of the things that I wanted to discuss is just to check in with each of you. Do you hear an echo?
Yeah.
Yes.
What's the phone? There's a little phone down there. Who is that?
Do you hear an echo? Yeah. Carl?
That's probably Carl.
Okay, that's
Oh.
Carl. But wait, can you all answer one question for me? Deborah Tirado is on the board or not?
She is.
Okay, because her name was completely taken off of everything.
She's actually assigned to the committee, to one of some committees.
Okay, but she's not on the list.
Which list?
The list that we were sent out.
Okay. Is the one that I sent out has her on it? Is there a different one that was sent out?
Okay, this is fun.
Okay. All right, but we can talk about that after. So right now, I just wanted to go over a few things, kind of like any updates, to hear any updates from you all. Ideally, even Ms. Benitez mentioned our executive committee meetings should happen at least a week in advance. It just so happened that this week it was, this past Monday was a holiday. For last month, it was a holiday as well. Any updates, anything you want to share? I know we have a lot going on our board.
I think next week we have a public safety meeting. I think New York Civil Liberties Union.
Okay.
So I don't know if any one of you guys want to be on that call. I mean, I don't really know why they're coming up here for, but I could just speculate and assume why they're coming up here for.
Which is what? What do you think is happening?
I mean, I don't know if you're familiar with New York Civil Liberties Union. You know, they're like, I mean, I'm not gonna say anti-cop, but anti-cop. So I guess they just want to come and speak about a particular unit, the SRG unit. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that unit. I don't know if you guys seen some cop cars that says SRG on them. That's like
Is that sergeant? No.
That's a special. That's like a special unit that comes out of the old 44 precinct by the Cross Bronx and Sedgwick Avenue. You know, so I again, they want to come and speak about that unit, and you know, so.
All right, yeah, I would love to join.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna let them speak, but if it gets to the point that it's getting a little bit out of hand, then I'll just stop them and stuff.
Okay.
Mr. Alfredo, is that something similar to what they had like before when they had like the stop and frisk was in those special units like that?
I mean, I don't know if SRG is that particular unit, but SRG had a lot to do when the protests was going on.
Oh, okay.
So that's that unit. So again, I mean, I don't know what exactly they're gonna speak about because they've been trying to come to us for a while.
Oh, okay.
But George told them come to committee first, and then if they want to speak to the general board, But I just don't want somebody to come and, and say things about the cops, especially the cops from our area, which we have a pretty good relationship with them, and we don't want to, we don't want to scare people away. I mean, because based on their thing, they want to come and badmouth that particular SRG unit, and and try to get them dismantled. So
that's exactly what it says, Fredo. It says the NYPD Strategic Response Group must be disbanded.
Yeah, but why though? I mean, why? I mean, again,
I'm reading it. Yeah.
Why did they do to us? They didn't do nothing to us personally up here. I mean, I think what they're getting at is that eventually they're probably gonna send some of them up here. I mean, if that's the case, fine. I mean, we could use extra cops, but not necessarily because that particular unit maybe did certain things during the protest that they're gonna come do that up here. You see what I'm saying? So we don't want to also, negatively, inform our people or our community and say, oh, listen, whenever you see SRG run, you see what I'm saying? So, so anyway, that's next week. I think next Monday, I believe. I'm not sure, but I think it's next Monday, the public safety meeting.
You'll let us know?
Yeah, I think Ursula sent out.
She did?
Yeah, I believe so.
I haven't been getting all the emails. If you don't mind forwarding that to me, that would be
Okay.
great.
Yep, definitely.
Okay.
And then I'll forward it to you. You can forward it to the rest of the.
I'll forward it to everybody. If you want to
Yes.
do it tonight, I'll send a reminder to everybody tomorrow as well about the general board meeting to all of our members. So I can, any announcements that you have, I can send that as well. So thank you.
Yeah. So like I said, I mean, I think that George told him to come to our committee first, and then depending on what the outcome is, then if they want to speak to the whole board, then I guess they could come. But like I said, I don't want them, you know, depending on what they speak about, then I guess it'll be okay for them to speak to the board. But I don't want to come and say, oh, whenever you see these people, run. You know what I mean? Yeah, so I
No,
don't
yeah.
want that. We got a pretty good relationship with the 4-7, so I want to keep that.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
It's good to have an open
And
dialogue.
also, guys, I mean, I don't know if y'all aware, our, you know, awesome CO eventually is going to be moving, Inspector Nunes. I don't know if you guys ever met him. He's still in the 4-7. If you guys want to stop by and, you know what I'm saying, you know, or speak to Officer Bell so he could, you know, let you guys speak to him, but he's going to be leaving our command soon. He's going to get promoted.
Did they select his replacement?
Out of the two, not yet.
Okay.
We don't know when, but it could be today, tomorrow, next week. But soon he'll be leaving the, you know, the priest and you know,
That's wild. That's deep. I worked with him for 10 years.
he's a good dude, man. I mean, he's such a good dude.
We worked together. He was a great co-worker, man.
He's a good dude. And I mean, again, I mean, you know, whoever comes in, we'll just bring him to the board so he can introduce himself. That's the same thing we did, or we do with every new CO. We have him come to the board, introduce himself, and say a little, you know, speak a little something about himself. But you know, when that happens, I'll definitely let you guys know like that. We could try to bring in the new CO by, you know, so maybe by the next general board meeting, I think we'll probably have a new CO. So by then we could bring him in as our guest speaker, and he could, you know, introduce himself to the community, to all of you guys, and, you know, just say a little something about himself.
Thank you, Alfredo. Alexia, this is the executive committee meeting. Our general board meeting is tomorrow. Can you hear us?
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. Please join tomorrow. Talene, any updates?
Any updates? Okay, wow. I'm in probably about 5 conversations. One being, everyone has noticed that the community board, I'm bugging, that the school safety is, shut up, Carl. School safety, they have a whole they have an idea of what they want to do with the schools through, yeah. You see how, I see your face, Alfredo. So I'm trying to reach out to them. In a conversation with a young lady by the name of Tiara Donaldson, who has about a two-line description to her job with the DOE. So I'm talking with her. I'm also speaking to some commanders with the SSA, school safety. Okay, that's one part. Second part, we had a wonderful, interesting conversation. Beatrice and I, we got to spend our most romantic Valentine's Day with each other and Kevin Riley, which I tried to explain to him. He needed to have he needed to have some other like single guys standing around in the background or something, being that it was Valentine's Day. But we had a conversation. I spoke to him about a summit that they were having in Harlem, and he knew the woman that was doing that, and that was Mona Davids. So I told him we would like to do a summit here in the Bronx for our youth as well. So we spoke about that, and that summit will be most likely at the Y, because I contacted Miche Gaddis, who is the director at the Y, and he said that sounds wonderful. So it would probably be at the Y. That would be the best place as far as parking and, you know, space.
And just to piggyback off of what Ms. Dickerson is saying, like we're trying to think of ways that the community board could be more involved with the residents. And I think, John, you mentioned that as well, right? Like how can we be more involved and get the community to be more involved? So this was just one effort, something that we're thinking of, what can the community board do outside of our meetings? So that's where just how this discussion came about.
Right. So we're talking about May, which is Mental Health Month. Am I correct, Beatrice?
Mental Health Awareness Month.
Mental Health Awareness of Mental Health Month. Mental Health Awareness Month. That's easy for me to say. That would be in May. Okay, we have that. What else?
Excuse me, Mental Health Awareness Month is October, but
Oh,
there's a week in May that's devoted to that.
what week is it?
I don't know.
Okay, so I'll find
I
that
can't
out.
tell you right now, but there's a week in May.
Gotcha. Very good. Thank you so very much. Let's see what else. What else? I have a couple of groups that wanted to speak, but they are not available to speak until March. So that's where we are right now. I've spoken with all of my board members, so we're all on board. Committee members.
Well, and this summit would be a great opportunity for us to like create like cross synergy. We've spoken about that in the past, right? We can talk about public safety, transportation, environmental, small businesses, like doing some sort of event where we're addressing all of our committees, and cross-section work would be ideal. So May is a few months away, and I think that this is an opportunity for us to really get the community involved if we talk about different topics. So we really need everybody's input and ideas.
Also, there would also be a job fair portion in there as well, and an
Right.
education, college fair kind of portion also.
Right, you would each have an opportunity, and together we can develop some sort of programming around that and bring in guest speakers. And that way we can address all age ranges as well with our programming. Any questions, ideas, suggestions?
That's that part. I'm getting ready. What else do I want to say? I'm getting ready to hit everybody up for Sunshine Fund. Okay, so we're gonna send a letter out tomorrow.
How are we gonna do this?
Say it again.
How are we gonna do it?
Send the email out.
No.
Is that what you mean?
To get you the funds.
Same way we did it last time.
Just drop off the check at the.
You can drop off the check. You can mail a check. You can Zelle me, Cash App me.
Yeah, I'll drop off a check. How much is it?
25. Unless y'all want to get exciting again.
I'll give you 100.
See, that's what I'm talking about. All you got to do is say exciting to Fredo, and that's it.
And telling you some of the new board members may not know what the Sunshine Fund is for.
It's going to be in the email.
Perfect.
Oh no, it's going to be in the email. Because just to make you all aware, I had a few members last year that did not want to participate in the Sunshine Fund. So we'll see how that goes this year. I know some of y'all.
Colleen, I apologize. I still haven't sent last year's.
That was not you. That was not for you.
No, I know, but I want to tell you, I haven't forgotten you.
No problem. I could shake you down anytime.
Yeah.
Thank you, Carl. Thank you, Talene. Anything else?
No, I don't think so. I think that's
Okay.
it.
Love
Love y'all madly. Thank you for all the wonderful birthday wishes.
Thank you, Talene. John, do you want to go next and talk a little bit about that idea that you had too?
Oh, about how we
How do
deal
we?
with
Yeah.
the community. I was just thinking that somehow, but we're not in person. But if we were in person, we could start going back out to the community and have meetings at different places, like taking a meeting to the community. Like we could have actually had the meeting at the Y. I remember when Father Gorman was here, we had one at Spelman, or we could even have one at we could have one at Mount St. Michael or something like that. I mean, I'm just thinking, just even some of the churches, just go to the community instead of having the community come to us.
Right, because our participation is low, not just on our board as our members, but the community at large.
That's now because I guess the pandemic was a part of that. And prior to that, we had our turnouts were always ridiculous, always. And I'm not even counting when we had public hearings. Just our turnout for actual meetings was huge. And I think a lot of it also had to do the rearrangement of town hall.
Hmm.
Prior to that, we used to sit a little bit more elevated from the audience.
Hmm.
So now it's like when they come and we all together, nobody knows who's who or what's what.
Right.
So, I think that also maybe discouraged, a little bit of the participation, and also the Zoom. A lot of people just get tired of doing Zoom. By the time you know it, some people do like 5, 6 Zoom meetings a day. And they just, when they
No.
get home, they just, they're like, oh man, another Zoom. They really don't want to do it. But to piggyback on what Josh said, that's a good idea. Us at the precinct council, we always have our precinct council meeting in a different location throughout the year. I know when Father Gorman was around, rest in peace, he used to try to do it in different places also, and that helped out. But yeah, whatever we can do to go out and participate.
So more in-person meetings at different locations.
Yes.
Would you be willing, and I'll do it too, where maybe we each identify 2 locations?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
I mean, the Y John sounds great. I mean, they're very accommodating, especially. I mean, they will be especially to the board. And I know the warm weather's coming up. They have a nice little space outside,
Mhm.
but the Y is definitely one possibility, and then maybe a church somewhere. If we're gonna do the Y, then we could pick a church like on the totally opposite side of maybe in Woodlawn.
Mhm.
It's
okay.
two different locations.
How about us having like a civic pride fair or something like on a Saturday, where people could come and people could talk about the problems they're having, and we could like take notes and address what it is going on in the community. I don't know.
Listen,
Just
that sounds good. I mean, there's a lot of issues, but just people just don't know how to get their issues across until something happens, and then they want to come and try to chew us down, like we have, like we're at fault.
yeah.
I mean, Community Board 12 covers a lot of real estate. I mean, I mean, from 241st to Gun Hill, from Bronx Boulevard all the way to the water. It's a lot that we cover. So, to go door to door or establishment to establishment, it'll take like 2 weeks to do that, maybe more. But I mean, if we could get something like what John just said, some sort of civic thing on a Saturday, if people are willing to come out, I mean,
I
I'm
think we should do
good with
like a host of events, maybe quarterly or bi-monthly.
I think so.
And if we get our board members to be involved as well, but we don't have like the numbers, and we definitely need more participation for a number of reasons. Ms. Bond, do you have any ideas, input?
In reference to that, or just in terms of my committee?
To what we're talking about in your
Oh,
committee as well, even
okay.
participation in your committee.
I think that the community engagement piece, by hosting a lot of different events and just putting ourselves out there and letting people have a good understanding of how they can participate within the structure of the community board would be helpful. So I co-sign with what's been said so far. Definitely at the different locations, I think would be helpful.
Right.
Job fairs. And just a thought, I don't know if we could coordinate this maybe with the city in terms of the employment, if we could do something with the summer youth employment, so that the youth within Community Board 12 knows when that they can apply and they, can, there's a variety of job opportunities within the um, summer youth. So things of that nature. So
I like that idea within our district, like if there's a way like the youth and education, the education and youth committee and the small businesses, um, economic development, maybe like if there was a way where the youth within this district can get summer youth employment within the small businesses within this district, like
mm,
something like that.
maybe maybe we can like have create something where the youth would be able to drop their resume off, and they can, if we can get enough of the small business owners who maybe need help, and then maybe we could facilitate like on site job interviews, that type of thing.
Mhm.
Something that people can say is tangible for them, that they could take back.
How would we
Um,
make that? How would we execute that? How would we make that happen?
I
I'm
think
asking
through
everybody, like, what would we need to do?
Right. Well, I think some of the business community within our borders would have to sign on with that. That's my thought. But well, I'll let you go with that, and then you'll come back to me when you want me to talk about the committee.
Yeah. No,
I
you
Okay.
can talk. Yeah.
I did contact all the superintendent for this district, well, for every district, and I sent out the SYEP application. What's the word? What am I trying to find? Link. There we go. So that was done. I sent that to everybody. Spoke with most of the guidance counselors. Spoke with most of the liaisons on that end.
But how do we identify which businesses within our district are accepting applications so that maybe there's a way that we can target the youth within this district to get jobs within this district?
Outside of SYEP? You mean
No,
just in general?
it's part of SYEP, right?
It's a
'Cause-
whole, that's through DYCD.
Yeah.
DYCD sets that up because when I also in summertimes worked for Police Athletic League
Mhm.
for about 40 some years. And we got our kids through DYCD. DYCD designates all of the kids to go out to different programs to work. That's how that's done. So it would have to be through DYCD for
Okay.
to have these businesses accept applications from these students, scholars, because it's from 18 to 20, 14 to 24.
Right.
Right. Is it possible to do something maybe with the businesses over by Bay Plaza? I know that's well.
It might be possible, but it might be late.
Oh, it might be too late.
To get
Oh,
this ready for next year.
oh,
But
okay.
I don't believe we can add businesses this year.
Oh,
I could
okay.
be wrong, but I doubt it.
Right.
In
That's a good
terms of
point.
other jobs like that, that's something different, but not necessarily with SYEP.
All right. I mean, that would be something that would elevate, right? That I think our community would be interested if there's a way that we can make those connections. Anything else on this before we move on to Ms. Denise Bond? Okay, Denise.
All right. So in terms of the committee meetings, we have one thing on the agenda for sure with parks, the Woodlawn pedestrian bridge. They're trying to resuscitate that plan, so they're going to come and speak at the March meeting. I would also encourage my fellow board members that if at all possible, if you can attend when you see the agenda for the various committees, if you can look at the agenda and if there's something there that catches your eye, to make sure that you then attend the committee meeting. This way, when we come to the general board, we can really, the discussions already have taken place in committee, and the meeting itself, we can move through the vote a lot quicker and efficient. This way, we're not debating issues at the board meeting where we should be just voting on the issues that have already come from committee. Just an ask on that. And that's it.
No, that's a great idea because too much time is wasted at the board meetings going over again. Because number one, the people don't listen to what you tell them to begin with. And they ask repetitious questions which have just been answered. And the other thing is you have some people who sit on a committee that approve something and then they challenge the approval at the meeting. If you're on a committee and you approved it in committee, you don't challenge it at the regular board meeting.
Right.
It doesn't make logical sense, and it has happened twice. And at meetings that I attended, and then the person that's sitting in as a member of the committee who voted in favor of it is now challenging this decision in front of the whole board.
Right. And just to add on to what you're saying, I think that it would just make us run a lot more efficient and we would be more informed if you can, make your way to the committee meeting, and then when it comes to the vote, you don't feel like you're in the dark.
I wanted to add to that because our website, shouldn't that hold a lot of the like resolutions, minutes, agendas, right? Like where people can actually go, and even before we vote, these things should be on at our website, right? Like that's where people can go and kind of like look through what's being voted on.
Is it part of our YouTube channel? Is it on that's record the meetings?
No, it's supposed to, yeah, that's additional, but it's supposed to be on our website.
It should be. It should be.
I'm not sure about the website part. I thought that it was just the YouTube. I'm not so.
The website is scary right now
Oh, okay.
to me.
So maybe we can check into that. Maybe George can facilitate because then if the website was up to date, you would be able to just put a link to the YouTube videos, and then that way people can actually hear the full discussion that took place on a particular issue.
That's good. Yeah.
But it's never been run like that in the past. Isn't that the norm, that these things go on our website? I'm asking you all.
I'm not so sure. To be honest about the website, I'm not so sure about that.
The website has people listed that are no longer with the board. Okay, that's one thing.
So that's something that needs...
The meetings, the recordings, I was unable to find when I was trying to help John with what he was getting ready to do with the schools, with the parking and everything, John. I couldn't find the meetings. We couldn't find anything, nothing.
I think that's something that should be prioritized. Yes, Carla?
So just in terms of making our content discoverable, I think we need to clarify the strategy because our board meeting recordings are on Facebook, but our committee meetings are on YouTube, and our written meeting minutes are on our website. So that's 3 different places our constituents and us have to look. So at some point in the future, maybe we can have a discussion about what our vision is for how to make our content discoverable in one place.
But I think the YouTube stuff, you could load it right onto Facebook.
The videos, loading them onto Facebook. But wouldn't it make more sense for it to be on our website?
It's probably for storage. Probably a storage issue. With a video takes a lot of space.
But are these, I mean, for me, I think that it would be ideal, right? Like if we're saying we want more community involvement, if we want people to be informed with what we're doing, the website would be somewhere where people would generally, that would be their first search, right? To go to our website and see what we've done, what we're doing, what resolutions have been passed, right?
That would be
So
their first.
are we in agreement that that needs to be prioritized?
To go to our website and see what we've been
Yes.
passed, right? So are we in agreement that that needs?
Sorry, I'm hearing an echo. Ms.
Oh.
Bond?
Sorry, I'm hearing an echo.
Well,
Ms. Bond?
Yes, I was thinking that I agree with you that usually if someone wants to find information, they would go to the community board website first. And then in terms of the storage, even if we put them like the most recent committee meeting for each committee, and then I think that the storage capacity might work because it's, well, website does have a certain amount of capacity, and it's not, you're not storing it onto the website really, because the person's going to click a link and it's going to take them to the YouTube, Facebook, whatever. So I don't think it's storage. I'm not 100% sure, but that's just my guess.
But even if it was that, like you're saying, right, that you're right. Even if it's that we have the links and it takes people, whether it's to the Facebook or the YouTube, but at least if it's on our website, people can't say we're not informed, we don't know what's happening, right?
Right.
Even with voting matters that are coming up, if they're there before that, people can't say, I didn't get the email. It's on the website so people know where to go, so that before we have our general board meetings and we're getting ready to vote, people should have already have gone, right? Like if they couldn't attend the committee meeting, they can go to the website and get it from there.
Even stuff like the bike lane presentation and all that stuff should have actually been on our page. And I've actually, when I was doing my report, I actually grabbed images from that presentation just by Googling, White Plains Road bike lanes in the Bronx. And
But where did you get it from?
it was a DOT site or something like that.
But not our website.
Not our website.
Okay. So this is something I'll set up a meeting with George and Ursula and just let them know that, we're all on the same page, that we need to figure out a route where all of our content is on that website, whether if it's links to videos. But our minutes should definitely be there, our agendas as well.
And Beatrice, was this one of the findings that someone, like, we were audited by someone and they said, all the complaint about our website not being up and running and all that stuff? We were audited, I remember.
We've been audited, not in my time, like we were just audited, but
this was recently. Like, I remember George mentioned it to us that we were audited by someone. You guys should remember this also. I mean, and he spoke about the different things, and the website was a problem.
I've heard of that, right? Like we've gotten hits because of the website.
Yeah.
And I guess if the conversation is that maybe we need to hire a part-time staff member or something that can help with that, then I think we need to push for that, even if it's when we talk about upcoming budgets and allocations and things. The website is really our representation of what we've been doing, what we want to do, things that are coming up. So I think that should be prioritized.
Yeah.
Wouldn't the city give us the money for that? Because
if we ask for it, right? But maybe we're not asking for it. Maybe it's not in what we're requesting, what our needs are.
Oh, maybe maybe looking at what the other community boards have on their websites and how they look, and
they have a lot.
Oh,
have a lot.
Especially Committee Board 9. When you guys get a chance, go to CB9. They got a lot of goodies there. And I think CB5 or 6 in Manhattan also.
Right. We do a lot of work. George and Ursula do a lot of work. We're doing a lot of work, but unfortunately it's not reflected on our website. And that's really all we have as the face of what we're doing. And now that we do have these videos, I think a link to that would be great. But part of the reason why I wanted to have this meeting is just so that we all get to on the same page as to what we need to prioritize. And I think that should be something. Hi, Clinton. We're just talking about like some of the things, if you heard.
Any movement on the meeting we had, or the conversation we had regarding the bike lane and the gentleman, and how we're gonna go about getting a meeting with DOT, or have we heard back from DOT?
I haven't heard anything.
Wow. You know, eventually that's gonna come back, maybe back to us tomorrow. Somebody's gonna probably ask that question.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not gonna have an answer. So that's when it becomes a problem, when a week or two passes and then we don't have an answer for somebody, and then they ask the same question, and it's like,
It's over?
yeah.
Okay.
Is there any way we could reach out to DOT tomorrow, John? I mean,
Yeah, I'll email Key Cobb in the morning.
just email. Yeah, please email. Keep just asking him what's going on, like that. We have some sort of feedback, just in case anyone asks. At least we'd say that we follow through, and they haven't gotten back to it because they're busy, or or something. Because people just think that people just sit behind a desk and don't do nothing all day.
I was actually trying to wait for like protocol. Let George, like he said, we should go through him to go to reach out to the different agencies.
Yeah. No, just reach out to George. Maybe he did already. Just reach out to him like that.
He's on vacation though for
George?
For like a week. I think it says that he'll be back on the 27th. But I mean, that's a good idea. Maybe there's a way, and we can connect with George on this, if there's a way that I can also reach
maybe
out on
Ursula can
behalf of
reach
the
out.
board, or
I
Ursula.
just don't want nobody to come tomorrow and say, "Oh, but we met 2 weeks ago, and y'all meant to tell me that y'all couldn't get it." You see what I'm saying? 'Cause, I mean, that's the type of attitude people were having the last time we were on this meeting. And again, it's funny because this morning I was driving to work and coming down to 232nd Street, and MTA has the whole entire bike lane closed off with their trucks. So I'm saying to myself, I mean, it's not just a regular mojo. It's anybody. It's even city agencies. It's even city people taking, closing off bike lanes. So it's not just that, I'm parking in the bike lane to do a delivery, or you are. It's anybody. I mean, so.
And a lot of safety concerns, valid ones, were brought up, right? Like even the fire department couldn't get through, or like, those are like sanitations that we need to, how do we work around that?
It's hard. I mean, White Plains Road is congested as it is, and now with these two bike lanes, it just makes it that more congested. And even before the bike lanes, people were still double parking and triple parking. So it's not that the bike lanes are making an issue, because that was always the case. Even before the bike lanes, the trucks were parking right in the middle of the street, with even without the bike lanes. But it seems that the bike
lanes make it worse,
and that's not the issue. The bike lanes are not the issue. They're just making it the issue, but it's just they were still doing that even before the bike lanes were there. Perfect example, when I drove down there today, you had one truck parked in the middle of the street and MTA blocking off, all the bike lanes because they were doing work on top. They didn't come to us to tell us they're going to do that.
Those bike lanes are a mess. Those bike lanes are a mess. They need to get rid of them. I was for them, but they're not being maintained.
Yeah.
They're not being enforced. They need to just get rid of them.
It's going to be so hard to get rid of them.
I know it is.
Dykeman. I mean,
I know it is.
When this first came about, Dykeman was one of the first paths from the East River to Inwood Park. That's when Idani's was the councilman up there, and and they implemented it, and it was a nightmare. In Dykeman, to put two bike lanes, it was, even to today, it's a nightmare. Nobody wants them. Nobody uses them. Nobody maintains them.
Nobody uses them here. Nobody uses them here. Nobody.
It's hard, but the thing is, to get rid of them, they're not going to want to spend the money to repaint that or remove all that green stuff they put on the street.
I understand, but I'm just it's just horrible.
You see the Woodlawn train station? You see how much garbage is caught up behind that? I was driving on 233rd on a Sunday, and behind those the plastic barriers is a whole bunch of garbage.
From Gun Hill Road all the way up, just nasty. Bike lanes, horrible.
And that's why we got to have the conversation with DOT, like that. They could give us some pointers as to what can they do. Probably not much, because they just DOT. They're not sanitation. They're not going to go. I mean, they have trucks to clean up, but they usually use those trucks to pick up along the highways.
But those trucks can't go behind those plastic cones or whatever it is, or the posts. It can't go behind those. So everything has to be done by hand.
Yeah, nobody thought about that, I guess.
Let me ask you a question. Didn't at one point we had the Dove Fund people around here cleaning up? I don't see them around here no more. Remember the Dove Fund, the guys in the blue uniforms? We don't have them no more, right?
I haven't seen
No,
them.
I haven't seen them.
Okay.
But don't we have to have like a bid to have that?
No, we had them before.
We had them before. We had them all throughout White
Still,
Plains Road.
we still have them. We still have them. They're being paid by, I think, if it's not Hasty, Riley is paying for them. Now, where they are, I don't know.
Yeah, cause I know at one point we had them, and they used to always be on 233rd and White Plains, always. But I have not seen them in I'm gonna say a couple of years.
I haven't seen them as well in a couple of years.
Okay.
I found your nose.
We got to get moving on that public hearing too.
Yeah. Got to.
Thank you. Mr. Carl Stricker, anything on land use?
No, we're moving along. We didn't have a meeting this month because the person coming to speak, it was on converting office buildings into housing, affordable housing, which is an old plan. But unfortunately, when they started converting office buildings into housing, they were converting them into co-ops, and this is basically in a financial district. But and I don't know where in the Bronx do we have an office building that can be converted to affordable housing. I mean, I'm not against it. I mean, why, if the building's not serving its purpose and being empty, let's do something, convert it to housing. But I think it has very little effect on our borough. But we should listen to his ideas and maybe support his ideas, because there's a lot of vacant office buildings in the city, basically Manhattan, some in downtown Brooklyn, that we could convert to housing. But that's up to the local community board to decide if that's what they want to do with that business, and it has a lot to do with the zoning. So I'm looking forward to have them at our March meeting. I don't know if we have anything else coming up on the agenda for March, but I don't want to keep this guy in waiting, because his idea is basically a good one, and maybe we'll listen to him at the next land use meeting, which I believe is the second Monday in March, and see what happens. But that's where we stand today. I don't see any other projects coming up that impacts the board. No major developments. I mean, Wakefield Village is moving along, which is good. Is very positive for the community. And basically, that's all we have on the agenda, as far as I'm aware of.
See, all of these updates would be good if there was a way to have them on our website, all the things that are happening and coming up on our board.
Something,
Mhm.
I agree with you, but people don't read. And a prime example is the bike lanes. All of a sudden, the businesses are up in an uproar. The bike lane there is no difference with parking and stuff like that. It's the same thing as somebody who spoke before me said. The congestion has always been there. Key Food, for example, between 233rd and 232nd Street. If the truck don't get there when there's alternate side street parking, he has to sit under the L structure and unload. And these are semis, not the small box trucks. So yeah, the issue's been there for a long time, and it was never addressed. And the bike lane only made it more visible, because you need to look at somebody to blame, so you blame the bike lane. But the bike lanes have never been enforced. I don't care where you are in the city, except on First and Second Avenue in Manhattan. Are they enforced? They're not enforced.
Right.
And it's dangerous. People, you'll be crossing the street with your light, and some guy comes down on a bike, he'll run your butt over because he thinks he has the right of way, even though he has a red signal. they don't realize they're a vehicle and they're supposed to stop for red signals. And
Right.
these electric scooters and delivery guys are the worst.
I agree that people may not read, but at least we would be doing our due diligence, right? By having there, and we can always say the information is on our website. At least we would be covered that we are at least putting the information out there.
Yeah. But look, I know that DOT flooded the area with posters on light poles and telephone poles and you know, even in the subway station about the bike lane, and they went into the stores and handed the guy in the store, yeah, this is what we're planning to do, and right away it went to file 13. No, and then also now they're in an uproar. And that one woman who says, "Well, I don't live on the ground floor, and I don't read telephone poles. I'm not a dog." I think that was insulting to anybody who actually reads what's on there, because it's a message to them. When I work for
It was beyond insulting, Paul. Beyond insulting what that lady said.
you know, and when I worked for transit, we used to post diversions, weekend diversions, on the train route that's being affected and all the stations. And then you on Monday morning, you go, "Oh, what you doing on my train over the weekend?" Well, and you tell them, "Well, we had posted everything." "Oh, I don't read those things." Well, if you don't read, you're not going to know. Remember, reading is knowledge.
Thank you, Carl. Thank you for that. Ms. Benitez, you're up next.
Nothing much. I like what Carl said earlier. Anyway, nothing, except for the 14609 we're presenting to the board as in the know. In other words, we're not going to approve it, and we're going to send a letter of objections to SLA about that site. And that's it.
Okay. Thank you.
Mhm.
Carla? You're on mute. Okay, we're gonna move on to Ms. Claude until you're able to figure that out. Ms. Claude? You're on mute, Ms. Claude? Oh, there you go.
Yes, I am. I have no update. We continue with our usual meeting / workshops on the first Monday of each month. The next one will be next month, which will be March. Women's History Month, we'll be celebrating Women's History Month. And I have secured a doctor who will speak about women's health. So that's planned for the first Monday in March 6th. And that's it for now. I am looking for members, committee members. So far, we only have 2 committed members besides myself.
It's a shame. It's a shame. Like I said,
It is a shame.
we don't have that many members as it is. So it's been hard assigning members to your committee, but we're hoping to get new members, and we're I'm definitely working on getting you more.
Beatrice, how many?
We have 3 assigned, but 1 we don't see. We
Right.
speak with her and she says, "I will be at the next meeting," and she does not show up. So it's just 2 and myself.
Well, we can
But we
remove
do
them
the
from
best.
the
We
board.
do the best we can with what we have.
Right.
But if you're bringing in like a doctor to speak and you only have 2 people there, that's a waste of a person's
An
time.
opportunity.
Besides your time, Miss.
I know, but you know what? I usually have other people who would come and support. There's some board members who would always support me. They would be sign on and they would listen to what is being presented. And then I would have other people if I can.
Okay.
Alfredo, you were asking how many board members we have in total?
Yeah, like active. I know a lot have either left, retired, or moved on.
Right.
This,
We were at 38.
we're at the number of 37 right now.
Wow.
Minus Harry.
I have a question for Joan, though.
Yes, ma'am.
In reference to the person that doesn't attend your committee meetings, do they attend the board meeting?
But she was at the last board meeting.
Yeah, but the issue is they can be removed for not attending committee meetings.
Also, Joan.
So
So,
I'm inviting you all, if you're available, to tune in and support the committee on March 6th at 7 p.m.
Joan, if you don't want to say who the name is, could you just send an email to
you?
to me and Beatrice?
And myself.
Yes.
Okay.
We do need to know, right? Like, Ms. Benitez is saying, we do need to know who's not attending committees. I've already sent it out. I remind people again. I reminded them last year. They do have to attend. I can remind them again tomorrow. The importance that it counts is not the 3 absence strike and you're out. So the more we know not attending, the more we can. I can start sending out those letters. Carly, you had your hand raised?
Oh, hi. Yeah. So I finally found the button. I get confused between Zoom and WebEx and where the unmute buttons are, but I'm unmuted now, I gather. So just a quick update on environmental concerns. So we had a couple of setbacks because 2 of our Department of Sanitation contacts resigned and moved to other jobs. But we have a new one now. I reached out to him by email yesterday. So this person would be our point of escalation for community issues around trash, composting, any DSNY issues. So yeah, I have the new contact. I will continue reaching out until we make a connection. And then one point of good news, I had been talking to the borough president's office and Councilmember Riley's office and Councilmember Dinowitz's office about restoring curbside composting to the Bronx. And then it just happened. I can't claim any credit for that. It was DSNY Commissioner Jessica Tisch who just said we're doing it. So March 2024, the rollout will be in the Bronx. Nobody has to do anything. It will just happen. And that's a huge win, both for the environment, because, you know, it's stuff that won't go into a landfill, but also in the Bronx's ongoing battle against the rat thing. I don't like to say that too much because people look at me funny sometimes when I say I work on the rat mitigation thing. But, you know, once we start taking food products out of the trash that sits on the street, the rats go away. So I'm very excited about it's a year away, but I'm still very excited. We're going to have curbside compost pickup in the Bronx because it's going to have a host of happy results, both on the environmental front and the rat front. So that's it.
Is it going to happen again?
You.
What date? What?
March 2024
Okay, let me ask another
for
question.
the Bronx.
Okay, you're talking about.
I'm sorry?
You're talking about Carla, you're talking about private housing. What about the apartment buildings? What are the rules for them? Has that been posted yet?
No. So there is um a, a city council proposal about whether it's optional versus mandatory. So that's in play right now. So we should all contact our city council members and tell them we want it to be mandatory. Because if it's optional, yeah, well, there'll be black bags on the street every garbage pickup day with food refuse in it. So it's undecided right now. It's before the city council, but they haven't voted yet. And I'm going to tell my city council member, which is Eric Dinowitz, please vote mandatory because, it's one of those things. If only some people do it, it won't achieve the desired outcome.
Thank you, Carla, for the updates. Mr. Clayton Mike,
It's my turn.
your turn.
Good evening, everyone. Sorry for my tardiness. I don't really have much to say. I just want to give a shout out to the new sanitation commissioner, Tish. She's doing a wonderful job. Recycling. Well, I know, at least I know over here because, like after, but that Monday, when was the holiday? Monday? Holiday was Monday. That's my recycling day. They came and picked up the recycling on Tuesday, which they never ever do. I'm very happy to know that. And they also picked up trash on Monday too. So that's one positive note coming out of sanitation, even though we still got to get rid of these rats. But other than that, I don't have anything else to say. I'm glad to see everyone, and happy birthday tomorrow to Miss Joan Clyde.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Miss Claude.
Happy birthday, Miss Claude.
She shares a birthday. She shares a birthday with my son. That's why I know that.
Oh, happy birthday to your son too.
Yes.
Clinton, we were talking about a few things before you joined us. One was community involvement. We're thinking of doing whether it's bi-monthly or quarterly events. And so we want to rally together and figure out ways that committees and can do like how we can do cross-sectional between committees kind of events. So if you have any ideas, please let us know. And then we were talking about our website, making sure that all of the information should be on the website so that people can't say, I didn't know it was here, I didn't know what we were voting on, just updating our website so that it reflects all of the work that we've been doing.
I heard that part. We have a YouTube page, maybe? Do we have one of those?
We have a YouTube page, but what like Carla was saying, it was a good point, right? Committee meetings are on YouTube, our general board meeting is on Facebook, some minutes are on our website. So everything should be in one place. And maybe from our website, you're directed, to YouTube or Facebook or.
I mean, that's the ideal way to do it. Should be on the website because then people from that's where people go first.
Right.
That'll be the first place. Even if you just Google Bronx Community Board 12, that's probably going to be the first thing to pop up.
Right.
That's the ideal place for it.
Right. Like our resolutions, like in the past, where do those live?
Like the resolution from the past.
Mm-hmm.
Can't answer that.
So there's not like no archive that we can go back to and.
Probably something physical in the office. That's probably
That's it. Okay.
Because the website, in terms of the website, like I work in Community Board 8 in Manhattan, and I always see their meeting on the those kiosks they have in Manhattan. I always see it, so I said, okay, I'm going to be nosy. I'm going to go sit in on their meetings just to see what's going on, what's so different. Check their website, and it's full of everything. Their website's full of everything. It has everything. So I mean, That's the first. That's the place to go.
Okay.
That's where it should be.
Okay. I'll connect with George on that.
Like you said, though, I mean, they're probably going to need someone to do that.
We were talking about that. We may need to.
That a part-time person, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't need to be a full-time person, but somebody part-time that could update the website daily. You know, any pertinent information, so that people don't have to read polls like dogs. They can just go to the website and figure it out and find out everything they need to know.
Okay.
I didn't know dogs know how to read polls though, but
Thank you for the comedy.
not no comedy. That was comedy on that meeting, but that's a whole nother story. I'm not even gonna go there.
Right. Talene, you have your hand raised?
Yes, I do, because I forgot to mention when we were talking about the committee that we're still also working with the migrant families, the migrant students that we have at the two schools.
New Yorkers.
New New Yorkers, yes, sir. New New Yorkers, asylum seeker. I mean, it's extensive, but yes, New Yorkers. Thank you so very much for first chair. Everybody's laughing. Okay, so we have 43 students at PS16, and we have 19 students at 181. Okay, so that's where we are now, and we are also getting a wonderful amount of pushback of families who are saying that we were here before they came. And now all of a sudden they're getting all this, they're getting that, the kids are getting, so I like the way we have it set up, or the way it is set up at PS16, where you can go in, students and, shelters, it doesn't matter. You can go into the room and, you can pick up things that you need. They have everything in that room. Same way with 181. It's not necessarily quote unquote for New Yorkers. Okay, so we try to explain, people are saying, I've been living in a shelter for X amount of, nobody ever said anything to me about all of this, and now these people come here and y'all are doing all this extra stuff. They get everything. So we've been, dealing with that. Okay. So if you still have stuff you'd like to give, please do. PS16 has a whole room that is so beautiful just for donated items. 181, the same thing.
Thank you, Talene.
Welcome.
Ms. Dickerson, quick question. There are no New Yorker families in the elementary schools?
No.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, ironically, no. Not, and yeah, because we talked about it. Well, that's PS16.
Oh, PS16 is the elementary school.
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay. Wasn't sure. I'm not that familiar with PS16.
The little bitty ones. No. Yes, PS16 is elementary.
Oh, okay.
181, is middle school.
Yeah, right. But that's over in Co-op. PS16 is located where?
16 is right over here. Right. Say it again. Who said something?
Carpenter Avenue, right?
Right. It's Carpenter Avenue, right behind me. Right behind where
okay.
I live.
Got you.
Right,
that's
connected to
where the playground is.
Exactly.
Okay, got it now. Got it.
You got it. But the room is beautiful. It is so nice.
Thank you, Talene. John, you have your hand raised?
Yeah, last week I had to make a presentation at DEP for the cloudburst phenomenon that we're going through right now. So if you guys, it was really, really good. If you guys want me to do it for you, I could do it at some point because it's very important. Caller just came in, but because it's part of the environment and what's going on. Cloudburst has to do with all these storms that we've been having, and it's actually a storm that's rated like 4 inches or more in an hour. So any storm that's rated 4 inches or more, it has to be treated a specific way, or else you get like torrential flooding and this has been happening all over the world. And I could show you what it is been going on how DEP has been the forefront of solving a lot of these issues. So if at some point, if you guys want me to share that with you, I could, because I mean, stormwater and the flooding is gonna affect us now more than we think.
Right.
So, you know,
Which is concerning.
Can't
yeah,
we do that at a full board meeting?
we could do it whenever you guys want.
Why
Um,
don't you,
we could do it
what
to
about
the
March?
environmental, yeah, we could do it at environmental meeting, you know. Caller, I was talking about I had to do a presentation for Cloudburst at DEP. So if you want, I could bring it to your committee and we could do a Cloudburst presentation.
Yes, this is Carla. John, I would love to work with you on that.
Yeah,
Please,
and it have a lot to
just keep
do,
me
Denise, it has
posted
a lot
about
to
the
do
date.
with parks too, because wherever there's open space like parks and open fields and stuff, they're actually using those areas for storage of water where they're putting underground chambers. So there's a lot of infrastructure being installed that we don't know about. So I
Right,
could
So
check
is
so
that,
keep me posted. Yeah, we've worked together very well in the past. John, you hooked me up with Carolyn
yes.
at Department of Health.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, so she was very helpful. So yes, let's have our two committees work together where it makes sense.
All right, great.
I'm very open
yeah, John, I'd
with
be
that.
interested
Yeah,
in hearing about
yeah,
that
give
too.
me a holler.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, anything
Okay,
else
yeah,
before
so
we close the meeting? I don't want to keep everybody too long. We're already 8:17. Anything else?
No, thank you very much for this. This meeting was good.
Thank you all. I think there's a lot of things that came out of this. So I will be following up and circling back with all of you. So thank you so much. Do we do a motion to close this meeting or no? We just close it.
No, so moved.
Thank you, Carl. So we're
Good
closing
night,
the
all. Good
meeting at
night. Good night.
8:17. Good night, everybody.
God, it's
Thank you
gonna
so
be so
much.
long. I won't see y'all for a long time. I'm really sorry,
We'll see you tomorrow, everybody.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday to
Bye.
Miss Claude and your son.
Bye.
Bye.
Y'all be safe. Kiss my baby, Fredo.
Thank you.
She's
Thank
peeking right
you.
over there.